Hello everyone, welcome to the IPRA Rec Room. We're here with Camilla Best, the newest member of the IPRA team. And today we're going to talk a little bit about education and maybe some new exciting offerings or things that will be coming up in the next year or so.
Ooh.
Might be fun. So Camilla, why don't you introduce yourself to the Rec Room? Even though this is technically your second episode, I forgot to introduce you in the last one.
That's fair. Hi, my name is Camilla Best. I am the Digital Education Coordinator for Illinois Parks and Recreation. So my dominion is predominantly any virtual programs, things like Lunch and Learns, skills development webinar series, and recently the efforts for the learning management system and accumulating content, editing it, making sure it is picture perfect, ready to go so that members can be ready to learn.
Yeah, so why don't you tell us a little bit more about the learning management system? Some may have been hearing about it for the first time. Some of them who may be listening or watching may have heard of it from previous videos we've talked about. But give us a brief rundown of what that is and what we're hoping to accomplish.
Oh boy, it's hard when it's such a big system to think of how can I condense this into an elevator pitch. So with the learning management system, that is going to be an online platform where our members are able to access content on demand. So anywhere from 15 minutes long to an hour long content that is bite-sized. It's something that you can sign up for and enroll yourself. It is something that could be used for maybe a learning pathway so that you can take professional development into your own hands on your own time. We recognize that a lot of our programs are in person and in the Chicago area. So this is a really big benefit for folks who are in Central, West, Southern Illinois to be able to have more of an opportunity to access learning on their own time, in their own location, on their own computer.
Yeah, and it should be a benefit to everybody, especially I know summertime is a hard time for people to get out with everything going on at all your respective districts, departments. So, I mean, if you have a free 15, 20 minutes, could be as little as, who knows, 10 minutes for some programs. We'll have things that run the gamut. What are you thinking format-wise it's gonna look like, basically?
Oh man. So we have a few pieces that we are calling micro-learning, where that is something like what Vince was saying, is under 15 minutes. And it can be something that is in your specialty, in your profession, or maybe you're exploring outside your profession. Maybe you're thinking about how the folks who work the front desk are struggling with customer service because people are getting kind of heated during the middle of summer, and you're wondering how you can help them best. So it could be that you yourself take a learning module for your own benefit. Maybe you're taking it so that you can relate more to some of your colleagues, or even you could recommend that your colleagues take this training. So it doesn't completely overwhelm someone. It's not information overload. It's just a nice little snapshot. And so customer service is one area of professional development, but we have a whole big range of professional development, and it's actually broken down into 8 different core competencies.
Ooh. Do you mind, do you know them all off the top of your head?
Oh, sure. It feels like spelling bee time. Okay. We have marketing and communication, communities and engagement, facility and park management, administration and finance, nature conservation and preservation, leadership and growth, risk and safety.
Oh, you're so close.
I know, I'm so close. Gosh, what's the one that I'm forgetting? That would be really funny if we were like, well, I guess you'll have to wait to find out.
Yeah, that's on the next episode.
It's the one that Camilla forgot.
We could always pop it up on the
You'll
screen.
You'll have to just type
I'm
out the
honestly
text.
surprised you knew 7. I probably would have gotten
Well,
2.
and get me started on the sub-competencies then that have to do with that. So think of the 8 core competencies as those variations within the field of parks and recreation, right? Where you might have one of those words within your job title. Sub-competencies have to do with breaking down those skills on an even more granular level, where you are thinking of both what are some soft skills that people need to learn, what are some commonalities that you need to know. So this might even be a great one to start deep diving into, is with communities and engagement. I think it's customers and engagement now. Now I'm doubting myself. We've gone through so many revisions and so many renames. That one, we had a big roadblock with trying to validate identities, diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, because of the state of the world right now. And so one of those sub-competencies, we finally settled on the name demographics, because those are kind of questions that we already ask on intake surveys, where we ask our customers or our community members, hey, what's your age? Where do you live? How many people are in your household? Demographics is a neutral connotation word that we think will help us get through these bumps in the road and keep doing the work, even if we're not necessarily maintaining the same language. So.
Got it. So what do you think now is the next steps, like, of where we are now? I mean, you don't have to tell them exactly where we're at, but like just how this rollout, I guess, is going to happen.
Okay. We have legacy content pieces, which basically means that people who have presented with IPRA before, we want them back. We can't just be going through them, having their presentation one time. No, we need to invite them back because they were just such experts in the field and really captured their knowledge and really displayed that knowledge in a way that was super helpful to a bunch of our peers. So I ended up reaching out to some folks at Chicago Park District, some folks in the Champaign-Urbana Park District, for example, and we got to video record their presentations. And what I did is I transformed them from those video recordings into interactive learning experiences. So it's not just a bunch of multiple choice questions to make sure you didn't fall asleep in front of your computer. There's also games inside of it where maybe you're dragging and dropping answers, or you are clicking on an image to discover more about a playground system. And then through acquiring those legacy content pieces, we're hoping to roll out 5 by the time that we launch. And these are pieces that are about an hour long each. So that's a hefty chunk of content.
Yeah.
And then hopefully being able to continuously roll out learning so that maybe once a quarter, once a trimester, there's going to be new content on the learning management system to keep it fresh, to keep it relevant, and to have people keep coming back for more.
Yeah. And will some things be have CEUs attached to them? Will some not? How is that going to work?
Yeah. So for things like micro-credentials, that's 15 minutes worth. We know that CEUs are measured in hour increments. So the pieces of content that are going to be an hour long, we're really working to make sure that we can provide CEUs for completion of those educational opportunities. Again, because we want you to be able to come to IPRA University so that you can continue that professional development from the comfort of your own home without needing to drive 3 hours or what have you. And especially too, like if you have a certificate that's coming up, that's about to expire, and you're like, oh my gosh, Camilla, I need 3 more hours.
I don't think anybody waits the last minute though.
Not a single person?
No. I think they all got it covered, right?
Oh, you should. So being able to do that on demand, where then you can fill in those gaps. Or like, so I come from the world of teaching, right? And we had domains where we had to get a specific number of hours in like student emotional mental health support, or in like content, or in like customer service. Like there's different domains for it. So sometimes you might be like, yeah, I have 125 hours of professional development hours for my 5-year licensure cycle, but I didn't meet that 10-hour minimum for my like bloodborne pathogens area or something like that. I mean, we won't have bloodborne pathogens on our LMS.
Or maybe we will. Maybe it could be a part-time staff training that you could log on your own. There's some things that could happen. I'm not promising anything, but there's potential there.
And you know what, though? I think that's totally looking ahead to what the growth could be as well, right? Like that type of compliance training, making sure that the professionals who can provide that information, whether it's OSHA, it's bloodborne pathogens, it's anything related to safety, that since those standards are so high, we want to make sure that the learning opportunities align well with those requirements that other entities have in order to maintain that certification.
Right. And ultimately the goal of the LMS is to serve you, our members. So if there's some feature you want to see, reach out to us. Like, again, we can't promise anything. We're working with developers. We're not doing any of the like hard coding, I guess you would say. We're more the idea people. We're like Steve Jobs. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, we're creating the content. I think of it
You are creating the content.
We're like, I think of it more as like college professors, but we are not the university owners, right? We don't own the buildings or the infrastructure to be able to enroll students, but because we are the professors, we're helping to provide that content. Your peers are helping to contribute that content, which is amazing, incredibly generous, and really exciting, I think, too, because we obviously don't know everyone. As much as a small world as Parks and Recreation can be, I think that this is such a cool opportunity to get to know more of what other professionals in the field are doing and learn from them and hopefully be inspired by them too.
Yeah. And I think it provides a unique opportunity for a lot of people to, you know, currently the way things are, it's kind of hard to track, you know, I wouldn't say like kind of like a pathway throughout your career. This could be incredibly useful for those just entering the field from another field, or, you know, just entering the field in general, to be able to see like, oh, wait, what skills do I need to get to where I want to go? So I will just say, when we first started before Camilla was here, we took our job board listings and used like data analytics to figure out what were common things that, you know, were asked of people in certain job roles. So there's going to be a lot of overlap between the way the, what was the name of them called again? The segments of learning, the core competencies.
Do you want to retry that again?
No, this is it. We're keeping this in.
You're like, I'm doing 0 cuts in this post.
That's how I'm doing 0 cuts. So you're getting my brain how it works. So core competencies are going to align with those. And then in the same vein, they should correlate somewhat to an RPA, who does the general, you know, do they call them competencies as well?
Well, you know what's so funny is I literally had a conversation with Dwayne this morning about how NPRA is...
NRPA. It's the opposite.
I'm working on it. NRPA is working to develop competencies for the leadership track. So they are specifically looking at how can we develop leadership within the workforce, and they have their own subcategories that have to do with supporting leadership. So with us, we're obviously not trying to compete here because
Because they'll lose.
No comment. Because there's so many people have different interpretations of what it means to be a leader, right? You can Google search what are soft skills needed to be a leader, and you'll find 15, 20 different suggestions, and people will tout their own expertise and what have you. So obviously, even, you know, learning from Google, you can't learn everything that you need to learn just from a simple Google search.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can get really good at Google. Maybe that should be how to Google.
How to Google. So with us, with like our leadership track, is one domain is employee empowerment. And so with that, depending on the level of expertise, the foundational level is how can you be a leader for yourself? How can you self-advocate and say, here's a professional development I have been doing. Here's why I deserve a gold star, why I'm awesome at my job. And even helping you yourself keep track of what training you have been completing.
Mm-hmm.
Then even with the level above that, with proficient, if you are someone who leads others, hey, how can I step up as a leader to maybe encourage people to take specific courses that I think they would really benefit from?
Mm-hmm.
How can I kind of read their mind and work with them to develop a 1, 3, 5-year track of what their career growth looks like? And then with advance for employee development, for employee empowerment, with advanced for employee empowerment, maybe you're running your park district,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you're a director, maybe you're in the C-suite. How can you have that eagle eye view of looking at individuals and departments and their growth and their potential, and really tap into that and acknowledge all the hard work that they're doing?
Mm-hmm.
And support them too, because I think with leadership, a lot of times people maybe don't notice a leader until there's an emergency.
Yeah.
And kind of how can we make leaders more of an everyday thing?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's interesting the way you put it too, because everybody can take a leadership role at any time. It's not like you're a leader and that's it. Like that, we have one leader. Whatever role you're assuming within your job, you could become a leader in something. You can learn to lead, and it's an important skill to have. And I think that's kind of how you're describing the track of basically like, okay, you're leading in this area. How do you expand that into you get like to larger and larger leadership positions, basically?
Right.
So just because you're a recreation supervisor or coordinator doesn't mean you're not a leader, right?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point too, is leadership as a skill is not just limited to someone who has that in their job title.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's also a lot of self-reflection. It's setting goals for yourself and taking initiative. I think some other terms that we were thinking of for leadership were like integrity, right? So when you say you're going to help someone, do you show up?
Yeah.
And do you ask them what support will be helpful, or are you kind of telling them what to do instead?
Right.
A lot of leadership is like facilitating and helping people discover their own solution, and then it's like a coaching mentality.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's the best comparison I can think for it.
So what are you most excited for with the LMS?
I think the legacy content. I've talked with Dwayne so much about how I just get giddy while I'm video editing or while I'm creating these games for people to play, because as someone who is very new to the field of parks and recreation, it's so cool seeing people who are good at what they do and who know what they're talking about present on it and like have that confidence, and you can just tell how passionate they are and how much they love doing what they do, that it's infectious for me. So I'm really excited for people to get to explore programs like learning how to adapt a childcare program with focus on attention spans and keeping little kids engaged. That's a
challenge.
I know. I'm also,
oh boy, that's a challenge.
I know. I'm also someone who was a camp counselor.
Wow.
So I had been a camp counselor actually for the military, for the U.S. Army, and for the U.S. Navy over the course of 3 years. So my joke is that I'm trying to do the bingo board of branches of military, and I just need to get into Air Force and Marines and blah, blah, blah. And
Space Force.
And taking care of kids, right? Whether that is an after-school program or whether that is a summer camp program, and thinking of how to best meet their needs, and then like the customer service aspect of that as well, of meeting the needs of the parents or the guardians, and how to keep them engaged when there's the challenges now, the extra challenges of technology, and how you can use technology to the benefit, how you can use psychology to understand what is developmentally appropriate for these kids. And I had a lot of fun making a game that was purposefully distracting, where it's a memory test game where you as the learner go into this learning module and it tells you, hey, you have 30 seconds to memorize which child is playing with which toy. Because that's also something that's very true to life. It's very applicable if you work as a camp counselor, is you're doing those head counts, you're scanning, you're making sure you know who is with what and doing what. And then there's purposefully like things flying across the screen and there's noise going on too. And you only have one chance to complete this knowledge check. And if you get it wrong, nothing happens. But it just it kind of gives you an appreciation for the fact of like, oh my gosh, we are adults and we had a hard time with that. I can only imagine 5 or 6 year olds trying to focus on the adult who's giving instructions when there's all of this going on. And so then that content piece, hearing from Carmen and Trisha, was so fun because I felt right at home talking with them about kiddos and about camp programs and about child age programs. So, but I'm not picking favorites. I can't say that they are.
But you kind of just did.
Well,
too late. Can't take it back now.
I mean, I also...
It's your favorite so far. No,
it is my favorite so far, I guess. I'm still continuing to develop like those different games. So I was talking at lunch about how much fun I had with the soft surface playground system presenters.
Yeah.
So I have Dan and Merrick, and they're speaking about doing drop tests to make sure kids don't get hurt on their playgrounds. They're talking about when you do pour in place for rubber systems.
Yeah.
And
it's like those like soft like pads that are on the playgrounds now.
Yeah.
I don't believe in them. I miss when it was hard surface. There was like barely wood chips. It would just be like matted down mud and rocks.
That's so funny. That was one of my questions to them of what happened to the good old days of having those wood chip parks.
Yeah.
But so since there was...
Or sand. Whatever happened to sand? Everybody remember Man on Sand? You got to change the name of that now?
I have so many exciting things that you're going to learn about from taking this soft surface playground systems course because they talk about sand and they talk about how damaging it is to the playground systems when you have the pour in place rubber. They also talked, right? I might have guessed. They talked about using the rubber soft surface systems for aquatic centers. And I'm like, that's genius. I would not have thought of that. But I mean, imagine eliminating...
Instead of the old stuff that was like really abrasive.
Well, imagine removing concrete. You know what I mean? And then like how much safer that must be. With wood chips, I mean, Dan and Merrick are with the Chicago Park District. They have over 500 parks. Like talk about experts in the field, you know what I mean? And they are doing drop tests for all of their parks to make sure that they're in compliance. And I think they said about 300 are still those wood chips. It's engineered wood fiber, EWF, which is also a soft system. Yeah. You all should have seen me. So I live in Brookfield, and Ellert Park just got a replaced playground where now it is a port in place system. Yeah. And I was talking to my fiance about, well, you know, here it has 50% mixed in black rubber, and that's to help with the bonding. And just like spouting knowledge.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep walking.
No, and just spouting things off. Or then we sat on the swings, and I'm like, you know, these are high traffic areas, and this area is more likely to be replaced.
Interesting.
But I felt like such love and appreciation from getting to learn from Dan and Merrick about something that I felt so overwhelmed about. Yeah. It feels a lot more scientific because there's so many codes of compliance to go with it, and they're calculating the mathematics for G-force. I'm like, or Gmax. I'm like, sure. I don't know if they're right. I don't know.
I'm sure people will point out if there's controversy over it. I mean, I know there's controversy over, you know, athletic fields being turf versus non-turf.
Oh, sure.
I am team non-turf. I like grass. Give me grass. Although grass has its own problems. But like,
I know, well, and they talk about that too, right? Of like all the different benefits and like struggles and strengths of each system. Right. And so I, even as someone who's not in Parks and Recreation, found so much fun from learning about that. So the idea, I think, with some of these legacy content pieces is even if this is outside of your field, even if you don't interact with playground systems, you don't interact with kids, take the course.
Yeah.
You can still learn something. You can get to relate better to your peers because you have a better appreciation for what they do. So like if you're a maintenance staff worker and you come into a child care center and you're like, oh, there's sand everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, maybe now if you take this child care course about keeping young minds engaged, you have more of an appreciation or a better understanding of how difficult it is. And in turn, let's bring it full circle, that makes you a better leader.
It does.
Because you're working together as a team. Teamwork is part of leadership.
Yeah. I mean, and learning whatever you can. And even if it could be something like you might not necessarily agree with, let's say, like maybe it is something like you're like, oh, I still lean the, but at least you have that knowledge now of a different way to do something that you didn't before. So now you can take that into consideration. You know, there's a number of different subjects within Parks and Rec that have one side one way or one side another. But ultimately, the more knowledge you have, it's not going to hurt you, right?
Well, and speaking of knowledge that we don't typically tap into, my understanding is that it is very new and very inclusive that we have, I think this was the one I forgot, nature conservation and preservation. I think that was number 8. I think that was number 8. Why are you thrilled about it? Tell me more.
I like nature and conservation.
Ooh.
And I started a gardening club, and we're working on a few projects in Villa Park right now for, native pollinator gardens, community education, that stuff. So it's something I'm passionate about. So yeah, not like I'm playing favorites, but that might be a favorite for me.
Well, and something that's really cool about that core competency is that one of the sub-competencies is urban and suburban environmentalism. Mm-hmm. So it's recognizing the fact that regardless of if you live in a city, if you live in the suburbs, there's still ways that you can tap into sustainability, that you can tap into creating more green spaces, kind of like what you're describing with your garden club. And I think it's so easy or simple for us to assume that, oh, if I'm a park professional, nothing about my job has anything to do with a forest preserve. But I think the reality is that when you start looking at some of these modules or courses on the IPRA University that have that category, that core competency of nature preservation and conservation, you'll see, hey, there's really things that I can learn from other professionals in my field where maybe I don't get a chance to interact with them, except now I do have this chance because of the World Wide Web.
Sure. And even if you're at like a park district where you have like one building and not much field space and you can't plant a garden or create more green space or whatever, there's always something you can do to help the environment, help in whatever way possible. One example would be like having your lights go off at a certain time. That helps with like bats and other nighttime insects and things like that. Fireflies. I like fireflies, but lights kind of disrupt their ability to communicate with each other. So that's just one thing there's tons of things you can learn. Sorry, I nerd out about this stuff. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, it's understandable, right? And my hope too is that by tapping into other fellow nerds with that legacy content, or with people who maybe have a suggestion for, hey, here's a type of content piece that I really think you should include.
Sure.
Vince has the first submission. It's going to be lights disrupting the circadian rhythm of critters, and then you'll have like you'll have your little TED talk. Then
like, do you like mosquitoes? I don't like mosquitoes. You want to know what eats a lot of mosquitoes? Bats. They eat tons of them. Tons of them. So you want bats. Get bat houses. I don't know.
That's very goth of you.
Yeah, I mean, bats are cool. They hang upside down. I don't know.
I do love bats.
Yeah. But I mean, there's so much you could do. I mean, I want another example. I mean, just because I live in Villa Park, but Villa Park and Elmhurst, their golf course, they did a redesign where they incorporated native plantings within the golf course. Because, I mean,
that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, golf courses, are typically not environmentally friendly. So anything they can do to help limit their impact on the environment is great. So that would be one thing that maybe not necessarily you have to tear out your golf course, but it's a step in the right direction. I like golf too, so but it's a step in the right direction of how can we lessen the impact like that this area is having on the environment ecosystem. And you can learn many other ways. Another thing would be was it the Fox River that they removed all the dams on recently? I think it was Fox River.
Wow.
I had a whole class on this one. But it was interfering with the fish's ability to move up and down the river system, and it was causing problems in the ecosystem. And they removed those dams. Again, that's controversial too, so whatever side you lie on. But there are positive effects that did have on that ecosystem and with the native species that live within it. So
yeah.
Learning about those effects can't hurt.
Right. Well, and that, I believe, kind of falls into one of the sub-competencies for that nature conservation preservation, which is ecological protection and assessment. Mm-hmm. I think I'm very funny. That acronym spells out EPA.
Hey. Well, we got to start a new one up. So.
Yikes.
I don't know, do they still have the copyright on that? How does that work? Is that gone?
I'm trying to think of other domains that might be really interesting for people. Marketing and communications is a little simple. The sub-competencies are marketing because there's so many different styles of marketing.
There's a ton.
There's digital, there's brand, there's a whole slew.
There's like legacy marketing where it's like you're doing like newsletters and stuff like that. And
communication is communication, where we talk about digital communication, paper communication, snail mail, and what have you.
Making TikTok videos.
Yes.
Maybe.
Honestly, though.
That'd be a good one.
Well, and especially with those, some of those can be intimidating. Beyond conceptualizing, a bit of a teaser if you've made it this far into the podcast episode. So a micro-learning that I modified based on a template to make it more personal and more relevant to Parks and Recreation professionals has to do with navigating different customer personalities. Mm-hmm. So they were very nice in not naming it like difficult customers. Mm-hmm. They're not difficult, they're different. They have a customer personality. I know. And thinking about how your levels of communication could disrupt your ability to understand each other, to look for solutions that will resonate most with someone. Mm-hmm. So identifying if a customer is someone who just needs to vent and needs validation.
Which is often the case, I feel like.
If this is a customer who's looking for concrete action, what are some assumptions that are in place based on our own prior experiences? And this is a 15-minute micro-learning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, this content is really comprehensive. And I was pleasantly surprised about how much I felt like I walked away with just from something that was a little snapshot amount of learning.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really amazing, all the things that you're just going to be able to pick up just from, spending 15, 20 minutes, heck, a week. If you can dedicate that a week, you're going to learn so much throughout the year on the new system, and you'll be much more well-rounded and have a better appreciation, I think, not only for, everything you're doing, but from everything your coworkers are doing. I think it'll help bring a level of understanding within the workplace. Like maybe you don't know exactly everything the Parks Department's doing. They don't know exactly what you're doing, but you'll get some cross-pollination there. Yeah, see?
I like it.
Environmental term.
I think one more thing that I want to touch on is recognizing how intimidating it might be for online learning.
Yeah.
Online learning management systems only became a thing probably about early 2000s. I mean, there was the U.S. government, and then University of Phoenix, I think, had the first one in 1984, something like that. Yep. Yeah. Real disconnected. So for us, as millennials growing up as these digital natives, we have more familiarity with learning online. And then especially with the COVID-19 pandemic, our even younger Gen Z colleagues really became these masters of online learning. And if you have not completed maybe a master's degree or a doctorate within the past 20 years, you might look at this and go, whoa, online learning. Mm-hmm. I don't even know how to navigate something like that. I kind of want to help rest assured that something I've also been developing is an onboarding module where it is specifically showing you how to interact with online learning content, how to click through what might be an interactive element, how to complete games by getting to just test it out in a zero consequence environment. You're not going to fail this and then lose CEU credits. This is like an onboarding course to help bridge that knowledge gap so that people are able to feel confident when they are signing up for a course. And because the last thing I want is for people to feel like this is outside my capacity.
Sure.
Or, the learning curve is so steep. Or, why can't we just do in-person learning? We're still keeping in-person learning. Like, that's not changing. This is entirely just like a new opportunity. And, maybe that's part of employee empowerment, to go outside your comfort zone and to feel comfortable taking that risk.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, it's your choice, though. I mean, if you can spend as much time on there or as little as you want.
Oh, yeah.
So it's up to you. I thought of a name for your module.
Oh, my module?
Yeah.
Okay, what?
It should be called Best Practices or something along those lines.
I know. I have a lot of puns with my last name of Best, and I leaned very hard into it when I was a teacher because I taught middle school. My classroom motto was try your best for Miss Best.
Yeah.
So I want to bring that over to the IPRA University of just try your best. Try something new. It's low risk. You get as much out of it as you put into it. And, trying is half the battle.
Yeah.
Just showing up for it. Just logging into your community account.
Yeah.
Exploring around.
If you have issues, contact me.
Please, yeah. And if there's any type of error where maybe you complete a course, but it's showing up in the system that you didn't complete it, that's very normal. Like, technology problems within learning management systems are just as common as any other website where maybe something is spelled wrong or you click on something and a link expired. So feel free to reach out to us if you have questions, if you're not sure how to reach something.
If there's something you want to see that maybe we're not offering at this time, it could be in the pipeline. If that's the case, we'll let you know that it's coming soon. If it's not something, it could be something we're considering.
Put it on our radar.
Yeah. Do you have any final words for the audience?
Oh, man. Good luck out there with this summer season. Big yikes. It is hot out there, and it is your busy season, and you can do it. I believe in you.
Well, best of luck, everyone. We'll see you on the next episode, and stay safe, stay cool, and have fun.